right, I have several comments that were kind of backlogged, not especially interesting, and I didn't reply with any sense of urgency. But this one from Erika is kind of fun. This fascinates me. I wrote about an exchange I had with a doorman. So I approached a building with the name Dag Hammarskjöld on the building and engaged with a doorman who didn't like my approach, responded with contempt, and in a matter of seconds he told me to fuck off. So Erika writes, "This fascinates me. Why do you always seem to get in these kind of reactions out of people? Look at it from the doorman's point of view. He has a job, and he isn't answering questions from people who just wander off the street. NYC is full of nut jobs. He probably thought you were one of them. Fuck off may be a little extreme, and on the extreme side of reactions, but it may be all that works with some of the people that walk up trying to get into the building." Well, Erika, the comment is great. Number one, I stood behind the sign and I made no attempt to get in the building. But number two, on some level, I was probably, here they stand in front of this building, and it's Dag Hammarskjöld is a historic figure, a peacemaker who was killed doing the work that he was expected to do, that world needs people to do. The world needs leaders like this to broker peace in places when there is no hope. And he was the Secretary General when his plane was shot down in Africa. And on some level, I was probably threatening. On some level, I was probably like, this is some whack job off the street that approaches to try to prove to me that, I'm speaking as if I'm the doorman now. This man walks off the street and tries to prove to me that I'm an idiot and I don't know who Dag Hammarskjöld is. Of course, my approach was more innocent, like, hey, maybe they have a brochure on the guy and I could refresh my memory. I have refreshed my memory with the help of Google since then, but it would have been more memorable if I had been able to approach it like a museum. There is a memorial to the guy there, and to have a little bit of text that could be handed out, or I've done this before with public art. I'll say, who is the artist? And I'll get pointed to a plaque that is sometimes hidden. I've done that many times. Now, as far as it not being the doorman's job, it would be fun to explore, because I was formerly a doorman of a hotel, and it was our job. We were like the concierge, and we got trained in, here we are in college, and we'd eaten nothing but hamburger and French fries and spaghetti with meatballs our entire life, and now we're supposed to advise more sophisticated palates on what restaurant to go to. So we had training on what the restaurants were and what people might expect, even entertainment. It was way, way out of my 24 age league, but nonetheless, it was an expectation for us. So I have printed my blog post, and it is going in the United States Postal Service with a forever stamp on it. And that's because all digital roads to Dag Hammarskjöld Tower are blocked. And so in the doorman's posture, he didn't want to hear from me. And all the digital roads are blocked, so they don't want to hear from me either. And so I'm going to put a letter in the mail. If I ever had a conversation with management, you can bet it would end up in my blog. But I do think a polite facade to the people who are paid and wear uniform and represent the building out front. Let's face it, I could be a resident they don't know yet. I could be the brother of a resident. I could be I could be someone associated with the UN. And the Dag Hammarskjöld has attracted a lot of temporary and long-time residents from diplomats, foreign and domestic, of the United Nations. So they don't know who everyone is. And to react to me and escalate so fast in the way that he did, it's consistent that he might want to. I'm a whack job off the neighborhood. But Erika, let me also say this, that I am guilty as charged. I I like to provoke people, especially when I can do it with tiny, undetectable, undetectable. It's not undetectable. It is detectable, but not detectable in any violative way. When I was a pedicab driver and I could trigger people with, hi, would you be so kind to tell me where you're going? And they would respond with contempt. On some level, I kind of enjoyed it, that I could trigger. Very funny when it's coming to. I had this guy, he needed a cab, and it was the best. It was the greatest hits of my gig as a pedicab driver. He ended up screaming at me about I fly private jets, and my trigger to him was so. I mean, if that video was recorded or the audio was recorded, I was, probably overly persistent and solicited some of the anger that this man expressed, but my provocation was so veiled that it would be impossible for anyone to listen and say, oh yeah, the pedicab driver was the bad guy. This guy just blew. He was obviously in a rush to get someone there, and he was a guest of the Waldorf Astoria. It was open then. It's been closed now for about a decade. And he just couldn't get a cab. That was one of the problems with the hotel, and probably why it's closed, is their guests could not get cabs when cabs got tight. So he ended up across on the other side of Park Avenue trying to get a cab. There were no cabs, and he wasn't getting in my cab. So it was a great moment for me because I was able to trigger him in such an extreme way, with such mild provocation. And on some level, I probably did that to the doorman. And maybe on some level, I wanted to make a fool of him because he didn't know who Dag Hammarskjöld is. He should. And if he doesn't, then the building has a problem. But anyways, thanks for your comment, Erika. It is your comment that has prompted me to catch up on a couple of backlogged ones. Now, this is kind of funny. I just replied to Erika's comment. Now this is Francis. I think most people would enjoy replying to a flattering comment like this, and instead I backlogged it and kind of waited for more, more escalation, more intense stuff. But nonetheless, Francis, on Nextdoor, I had posted about an apartment that was available, or at least I thought it was available. It's still vacant now, so maybe they have other plans for it. And Francis writes, Tom, you are truly a caring, decent, respectful, honest, funny, and especially you look for the greater good. And this is on the heels of Erika's comment that's kind of comparing me to a New York City whack job. So, Francis, thank you for the comment. And then these are on Facebook. Anna, this is Christy Akeo, a news story. She and her husband got put into a Mexican prison, and I wrote about it. And I kind of can't tell what she's saying. She doesn't really seem to be saying it to me. We need to be very more careful. Who's we? Is she speaking to we? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. You must not send your personal information to strangers you meet online, trying to be what they are not. And if you're the victim of a scam, I highly recommend. Oh, okay. She's promoting something. That makes sense. And then Donna